Okay, so in the last class, what we did? Okay, installation. Anyone have any query in that? Okay, so good. So today we are going to start our routing, like not a routing. What is the routers? What is the booting process and all? So when you are powering off your Windows PC, okay. So what was the process? When you are start your Windows PC, this one, when you are clicking on the power button, so what kind of process behind these things?
Loading of OS,
Then,
booting,
then
and login, then to stream that. Yeah.
that's it. So in a router, yeah, and in this PC, how many memories you have? What kind of memories? RAM, ROM, huh? Means RAM and ROM. So in a router, we have this kind of components. We have ROM, we have RAM, we have NVRAM, we have a flash, then we have post, and also we have bootstrap, and then I guess that's it. So this much components we have. The post, it means power on self-test. Power on self-test. Then ROM, I hope you know what is the full form of the ROM. What is it? Read-only memory and the RAM. Can you please close this door? So power on self-test. Or the way, like just focus on the full form, like power on self-test. It means when you are start your router, so it's going to check your hardware components. How many ports we have, is working or not, how many RAM you have, means is going to check your physical components.
Just like clicking of the lights.
Yeah, first when you are switching off power on your switch, so it's going to check each and every port by using power. It's going to check the power supply, is one working or not. It's going to check your hardware like CPU, is going to check your RAM and all. This thing is going to check in the power on self-test. In the bootstrap, we have two sequence number. We'll discuss later about the sequence number later. 2102 and the 2142. It's two, not only two, we have a 4 to 5 numbers, but generally we are using these two numbers, 2102 and the 2142. CCNA. Yeah. Then we have ROM, and in the ROM we have these things, post and the bootstrap. Okay, in the ROM we have a post and the bootstrap. What the meaning of RAM? Why we are using in normal, in general case? Like in the PC also we have 8 GB, 16 GB, 32, 128. Why we are using the RAM? Okay, but why? How we are utilize these resources? Like why we are using the RAM? Someone saying like, as I told you, like for the GNSC, we need around 8 GB RAM. If you are come to the CCI security, then you need at least 32 GB RAM. So why? Online guys, why we are using the RAM? Like when you are running any program like a video editor software, so we need some space where we can run that operating, where we can run our software. So it's providing our temporary location and all that we can run our programs. And now in the routers we have a new term, NVRAM, non-volatile random access memory. Okay. In the NVRAM we have our startup configuration. Startup config. Like when you check on this Windows PC, so we have some startup application. You can see here we have some startup application. It means when you are powering on your device, Windows PC is going to check which softwares we have to start by default. Okay. So like in the system, Windows 7, Windows state, each and every state we have some like this, like startup application. In the Windows, we have some applications. So that's why we are saying like is a startup application. When you are powering on your Windows PC, then it's going to check in your startup menu what kind of data we have, what kind of applications we have. That application is going to start by default. So in the Windows, we have some startup application. But in the networking devices, we don't have any applications. We have configurations. So in that, we have two types of configuration: startup configuration and the running configuration. Running configuration in the sense like if I start my notepad, okay, and I write something. This is my configuration code. So you can say it's my running configuration because I didn't save this configuration yet. So unsaved configuration, it's called a running configuration. Okay. If I save this file, so it will be stored in the NVRAM. When this data is stored in the NVRAM, then it's called a startup configuration. Yeah. When you are firing write command for saving, like in the notepad also we have come to the file and we have option save or shortcut control S. So it means you are trying to save that file in your hard drive. Same like in the router, we have to store our configuration. Like if you didn't save your configuration, so unfortunately if power gone and again power up, then your configuration is removed. That's why we have to store our configuration. So your saved configuration stored in the NVRAM and the running configuration stored on the RAM. Okay. Now the flash. Okay. In the flash memory, we have our operating system. Okay. iOS files. In the flash memory, we have our operating system. Clear? So you can say in the RAM, we have our running configurations. Running config. In the flash, we have our operating system. We have our OS. Okay. Now let's check the sequence. So first is going to check your post, power on self-test. In the ROM, we have these two things, post and the bootstrap. Like our system also, we have one ROM. It means if you write something, we can't modify that things. We can't modify. But in the RAM, it's a temporary memory. If you are running something there, if you are powering power of your device, so that configuration will be removed from the RAM. But ROM, it will be there. And in the NVRAM, it's like same like a ROM, but in that we can do modifications. We can erase our configuration, we can change our configuration and all. Like your hard drive, something. Okay. So first is going to check post. And the post is belongs from ROM. So power on self-test is going to check your hardware components, your ports, your memory, your CPU and all. Then is going to check your bootstrap. Then is going to check your bootstrap. So again, in the bootstrap, we have two numbers, 2102 and the 2142. In the last, I'll explain you what the number. Basically, it's called a sequence number. It's going to provide like on which manner we have to boot our operating system. Like what is your first step, what is the next step, the next. Then it's going to find your operating system. First is going to check the power on self-test, and is going to check hardware component. Then the bootstrap is going to check your sequence number. It can be 2102 or it can be 2142. Then it's going to find your operating system. Close this one. Then it's going to check your, okay, it's going to find your operating system. Finding OS. So in which memory we have operating system? Flash. So in the flash is going to check your operating system. And our flash memory is look like this. Bring that first device, top one. So this is your flash memory. Okay, online guys, you can see here, and physically you can see that. This is your flash memory. Okay, it's only 128 MB. MB. Okay, not an GB, MB. And physically you can see this one. If I'm checking the price, flash memory in the router price. So it depends. Sometime, okay, this one. Normally 5,000 for MB. Okay. So in this flash, we have our operating system. So this is your flash. If you find your operating system, then you have to load. So it's going to find your operating system from the flash memory. And if we have operating system in the flash memory, then it's going to load your operating system. If no, like you can see, I remove my flash memory. It means in the router, I don't have any operating system. Then it's going to check your TFTP server. TFTP. By using TFTP server, we can upload our operating system in the router, and also we can take a backup sample. TFTP server. In the last, we will discuss TFTP. So if you don't find any operating system from the flash memory, then it's going to check your TFTP server. Okay. And if you find any operating system in the TFTP, then it's going to load. Okay. Suppose we don't have any operating system there also. Then, yeah, I forgot to mention here one more thing. Roman mode. Roman mode. In the Roman mode, we have our mini OS. Mini operating system. You can see the backup operating system. And this Roman mode basically used for the backup purpose. Like if you assign some password on the router and you forget. So how can we take the backups? Like in the Windows PC, suppose you don't know the password of the device. How can you log in without password? Huh? Rescue. How?
It is boot mode, right, sir? Boot mode.
Which one?
Boot mode. Boot mode.
In the PC.
No, in actually, I'm working on switches only in our company product. If or sometime OS corrupted if firmware is corrupted, then we are entering in the boot mode and again uploading the new OS.
Okay. Now, actually, if you don't have any flash memory and all, then in the router, in the Cisco router, we have a Roman mode. I'll show you after the explanation. Then I'll show you in which scenario we can come into the Roman mode. So now just tell me, like, okay, you are the engineers now. It doesn't matter your computer branch or EC branch and on. Have you tried like without? Did you try without password login? Like I want to log in my PC without password. You try this one? Anything? How? Easiest way. I don't want extra thing, like I don't want to go to the same folder and I want to change something. Easiest way.
Yes, this also we are doing. If password lost, then we are entering in the boot mode and then we are changing the password without me.
In the Windows PC.
No, I'm not talking about PC.
I'm talking about the PC. No, normally in the Windows PC, if you want to enter login in your Windows PC without password, then how can you do this?
Okay. Then I don't.
Have you heard about the bootcon? Boot. There is one software. Conboot, yeah, Conboot. Have you heard about the Conboot? KONBOOT Conboot. Just go and search. Okay. Now come here. So if you didn't find any operating system in the TFTP server also, okay, then we have our Roman. Yeah, Rakesh, on which device you are working? The Cisco or so this one? This one? Which one?
Actually, our company product, not on Cisco.
Okay, okay. Yeah, Opti-Link something. No? Okay.
Right, right, right.
So maybe in that we have some different process, different name and all. So if you didn't find any operating system in the TFTP server, then it's going to check your Roman mode. And in the Roman mode, we have our mini OS. So by using the mini OS, we can upload our operating system in our flash memory. Roman. Okay. So first is going to check your power on self-test for checking the hardware component. Then is going to check the bootstrap. In the bootstrap, we have two sequence number. Then it's going to find your operating system. First is going to check the flash memory. If we have any operating system in the flash memory, then it's going to load. If you don't have any flash memory, then it's going to check your TFTP server. If we have any operating system, okay, it's going to load in your RAM. Otherwise, it's going to check our Roman mode. In the Roman mode, we have our, this 1 minute. So it's going to check the Roman mode. In the Roman mode, we have our mini OS. Definitely in the Roman mode, we have a mini OS and it's going to load. Then after the loading of our operating system, after starting your PC, it's going to check your startup application. Same like in the router is going to check your startup configuration. So just tell me in which memory we have our startup configuration. NVRAM. NVRAM. So it's going to check your NVRAM. If we have any startup configuration, then it's going to load. Otherwise, it's going to give your router as a fresh machine, and then it's going to ask you some question. Do you want to configure your router or no? Okay. So this is the process. First, post power on self-test, then bootstrap, then it's going to find your operating system. First, it's going to find your OS from the flash memory, then TFTP, then Roman mode. After downloading your operating system, it's going to check your NVRAM. If you have any data, then it's going to load in the RAM. Or no, then it's going to give you a router as a fresh machine. And initially it's going to ask you, would you like to configure your router or not? What is the host name and all? So this is the process. Okay, any doubt in this? So this process belongs to the sequence number 2102. This is your sequence. First is going to check the post, then bootstrap, that is going to find your operating system. Then the operating system is going to find from the flash TFTP in the Roman mode. Then is going to check your NVRAM. Okay, it belongs from this number, 2102. Okay. If I change my sequence number from the 210 to 2142, as I told you, like this number is belongs to, by if you, why you are using this number for bypass our password protections. So suppose in my router, I configure my password and I save this configuration. So whenever I'm trying to log in my router is asking for the password. So how can I bypass my login process? As I told you, like each and every startup configuration stored in the NVRAM. So if I bypass this process, I don't want to check my NVRAM, then I can successfully bypass my login process. So when you are setting this number 2142, so again, it's going to check the post, is going to check the bootstrap, is going to check your operating system in the flash. If you have, then it's going to load. Otherwise, going to check the TFTP, then it's going to load. If you don't have, then it's going to check the Roman mode and it's going to load our operating system. After loading the operating system, if you are using the first one, 2102, then it's going to check your NVRAM. And in the NVRAM, we have our startup configuration. It means we have our passwords and all. So if you are following this number, so it's going to ask you what's your password if you set. Or if I change my sequence number from 2142, then it's not going to check your NVRAM. Simply it's going to bypass. So like this, we can bypass our login process. Clear? password recording purpose we are using. Yeah, 2142. Okay. Now come to the Cisco packet tracer. So for this lab, I'm going to take the router, this 2811. In the networking device, we have a router. In the router, I'm going to use this router, 2811. Okay. Click like this. So this is your router. Okay. So router is working on which layer? Layer 3, and it's going to take a decision based on routing table. So start your router. You can see this is our router, and physically you can see here the same model, I guess. It's a little bit different. Yeah, also. So this is your flash memory. Here we have flash memory. Okay. We have two fast Ethernet port. Okay. We have some console port, and we have one auxiliary port. Okay. Why we are using the console port? Like this is my fresh machine. I want to configure my router. So how can I do this? I need a CLI access. So through the console cable, console port, I can take the CLI access of my router. Then I can configure it. Like in the general, we have some type like in generally, if you want to configure your router, so how many ways you have? If you want to configure any device, so how many ways you have?
Telnet access, web access, and console access.
So first one is a console.
Right.
Initially, we don't have any IP address. Then if you don't have any IP address, so how can you take the telnet and SSH access? So first,
No. Yes, console access.
first console access. Then we have AUX, auxiliary port.
It is management port, right, sir?
Both are management port.
No, right. Auxiliary port.
But console, like I want to configure my router physically, like this is my router physical, and I want to configure this one. So simply I can connect my console cable. This is my Cisco packet tracer. Yeah. Directly I can connect my console cable on this port. And your console cable is look like this. Console cable. This is your console cable. Yeah, physically you can see. This is your console cable. Okay. One side we have RJ45 and the second side we have DP9. You can see the serial connected, but it's called a DP9. This one. Now online you can see this one, DP9. So just tell me, do you have any port like this in your PC? Like this RJ45 like connector, we have to connect on the router here. Okay. Then this DB9 we have to connect to our device, like our PC. Do you have any port like this? Where? That one is a VGA connector. And the VGA connector, like we have these things. 3 lines we have. Okay, 3 lines we have, not only two. Okay, we don't have. So we need one kind of converter. Where is it? Where is it? Then we need DB9 to USB converter. Like this, we need something. You can see physically here. This is your DB9 male connector, and this one is your USB. So this one we have to connect to the DB9 female connector here, and this USB we have to connect to the our PC. So like this, we can take our CLI access of our router. Okay. Now you can see the second one. Like first we have our console connector, then we have our auxiliary port. This one, second one. This auxiliary port is used for the management again, but if you are in the remote location and you have to configure your router, then we are using this auxiliary port. But nowadays we are not using, but because it's very complicated. It's complicated like why? So suppose you have one device, you have one router. This is your router. Okay, in a Bangalore location. In a Bangalore location, you have one router R1, and you are the network engineer, and currently you are in a Pune, Chennai, Surat. You can see Pune, and your task is you have to configure that router. So how can we do this? Remotely. But for remote access, we need some IP address. But currently, we don't have any IP address. So in this scenario, we are using our auxiliary port. So for this auxiliary port, we need line connection. Landline connection. So we have some modem here, and here also we have some modem. And also in this scenario, we need our one junior engineer. Okay. Why? Because I need this kind of setup. This is my modem, like for telephone communication. In this telephone, we have some number 275.166 something. So we have to connect our router with the modem, with the port, auxiliary port. Here also I need a connectivity from my modem, and this through the modem is going to connect to the internet, and through the internet we have reachability. So if I want to take the console access of the router with the auxiliary port, so this auxiliary port is connected with the modem, like telephone lease line. So in this, we have some number. So from the remote location, I'm going to dial that number through the, when I'm dialing that number, then I'll get the console access. But it's very complicated. We need a modem, we need one junior engineer, we need an internet connection. Suppose if you have any junior engineer, this is a network engineer. So I hope this guy know how to configure the IP address and how you can enable the telnet access. So that's why we are not using these things. Directly, I can configure my device, like I can assign the public IP address and I can enable my telnet or SSH access, then I can provide it. But we have auxiliary port. So this is a diagram. It's complicated. Now the second, like we have a console, we have auxiliary, then we have a remote access. So in the remote access, we have telnet, we have SSH, we have HTTP or HTTPS. Okay. For the remote access, we need an IP address. If you have any IP address, then you can assign it. Then you can take the remote access. Why? Because for the telnet access, also we need one IP address. For the SSH also, when you are typing www.google.com, it means we have some certain IP address. It means with the IP address, we can take this remote access and all. So generally, we have three. So for the console, we need a console cable. For auxiliary, we need a landline and all. For the remote location, for the remote access, we need some IP address. So we have to configure the IP address. Okay. Any doubt in this? Okay. Come here again. And this is a very important. You have to power on your device. Don't forget it. Because sometimes if you don't have any reachability, then we are checking the cables. We are checking, okay, some configuration is okay or not. When you are trying to check the configuration, you are checking, okay, I'm not able to get the CLI access. Then you might be thinking, okay, maybe we don't have any connection and all. We have loose connection something, but you forget to check your power supply. Okay, this is our basic things. First, you have to check the power supply. If you have a power supply, then go further. Okay. Then again, these two ports you have. Come to the config, and you can see we have two ports: fast Ethernet 0 by 0 and the 0 by 1. Okay.
So why two Ethernet port?
Huh?
Why two Ethernet port?
Because it's an older device. And it's a router, like we have limited port numbers like 2, 4, 8. That's it. Yeah, we can add the port. Like you can see here, we have blanks. Okay, so if I want to add some devices here, like in this physical device also might be we have. You can see here, the blank one. You have to remove the cell and you can add the devices. Here also we have, first we have to power off the device. Then you can see in the left side. Okay, and also focus here. If I'm clicking the first one, second, so we have some different types of cables. It's a fast Ethernet, two fast Ethernet. So if I'm trying to add this device here, so previously we had only two ports, fast Ethernet 0 by 0 and the 0 by 1. But now you can see we have Ethernet 1 and Ethernet 0.
So what difference between this fast Ethernet cable, two fast?
Ethernet cable, with the Ethernet port, we have some limited throughputs, like 10 MB or 100 MB. When you are increasing your speed, like fast Ethernet, then you have 100 Mbps. Then GB, you have 1 Gbps. When you are using the fiber cable, then I guess no limit. These things. Now for the verification, power on your device, then come to the config. Now you can see. Previously we had only two ports, but now we have Ethernet also. Okay, so like this, we can add our port numbers because it's a management device. And also, if you want to remove, again power off, remove it. And also, we have some, see, this one, cover. Like this, physically, we have cover, put it. Power. Clear? This is our serial. Now we have only two. Any doubt in this? There is a port number, why we are using the console, auxiliary, flash, and all. Now, this is my Cisco packet tracer. I have two routers. Okay, and I want a connectivity. So first thing what we need a cable. Cable. So if I'm selecting this automatically, so which one is it? It's a crossover cable. Okay, we have some types of cable, like crossover, straight, then rollover, and the fiber cables. So when you are connecting this router to router, then it's crossover. When you are connecting from the switch to switch, so we need a straight cable. Generally, we are using the straight cable, not this one. And also, if you want to connect with the PC, then again, straight. A little bit slow, this one. So generally, we have these types of cable. Crossover, then straight, then rollover, and also fiber. So I have some physical cable, just wait, I'll show you. This one. So you can see physically, here we have some cables. But when you are checking the port numbers, like this also for RJ45, this also RJ45, and this one is also RJ45. But this one is our rollover. The rollover cable are used for the console access. is for the console access. This crossover, if you want to connect your switch to switch, then we are using this one. If you want to connect your PC for the LAN connectivity and all, then we have this cable. And I hope you know these things. Fiber cable. Okay. So like if you are checking on the internet, so we have types of cable like rollover cable. This one is your rollover cable. So like a cable is even same, just the words are different. Like when you are doing crimping, then we have to select our color codes. According to your color code, we have to convert our normal cable into the rollover cable, straight cable, and the stretch cable. Depend on the color codes. So this is my rollover. So you can see your first one is like orange, and here the last one is orange. So like this is it's a
Software, one software is also used by color coding.
huh?
Color coding will कुछ गलत हुआ तो one software is ready to take automatically as per the requirement.
Depend like which devices are using, but like we have a crossover and the straight cable. Nowadays we can use a normal cable also in the switch. Why? Because we have some technology MDIX. If you configure the MDIX, so according to your neighbor is going to select the code and all. But this console rollover cable, it needed. If you want to console access, then you have to use this cable only. We can't use normal RJ45 and rollover and the straight cable. And this is our fiber cable. And for the fiber, yeah.
Sorry to be interrupt. Sir, rollover cable you are telling we can use for console access.
Console, yeah, console
How,
access.
how, how sir means one I
How,
will
how
one I
means,
will
so just 1 minute, 1 minute, I'll explain. How, have you heard about the terminal server?
no.
So there is one terminal server. Like why we are using the terminal server? I'll give you the example. You can see this is our rack physically, and in this physically, the fourth one, you can see the Cisco 2508 something. That one is our terminal server. Terminal server 2509 something. Cisco 2509 terminal server in the image. So this is our terminal server. Okay, this is we have. Now why we are using the terminal server? In generally, like what we have, I have one rack. This is my rack. In the rack, I have some devices like 4 switches and the 4 routers. This is my 4 switches. 1, 2, and the 4. Okay, this is my switch and router. This one. Now also we have some device like this, and it can be anything: router, switch, firewall. It depends on you which topology you are preferring or how you are making your terminal serve, like your rack. So we have a 4 routers and the 4 switch. Now just tell me, if you want to take the console access or all the devices, how you can do this? One by one, you have to change your console port. Like first, I want to take the CLI access of the R1. Then I have to connect my console port in the R1. Then I have to change, if I want to take the CLI access of the router 2, then I can change my port number. I can change my device. So suppose like I take the R1 device console, then R2, then R6, then R4. So like it's okay, one by one. But suppose you have multiple devices, more than 10 or 20. So it's very difficult to take the console access of each and every devices. And one more thing, like these servers are in a separate room, the server room, and some limited person here have authorizations to go there. No, everyone can't go there. So in this scenario, we have one terminal server. This one, we have one terminal server. So in the terminal server, we have some ports. This one. This is your console ports. Through these ports, you can take the console access.
So this all devices are remotely connected to this server.
Physically connected to the server.
Physically, we are going to remotely.
Yeah. It means all these devices like your router, your switches are present here. This is my R1. So first I have to connect this R1 console to this console. This one first port. Then here the second port, third port, fourth, six, seven, eight. Like this I can connect. Okay. And I can connect one Ethernet port here, Ethernet cable, and in that I can assign the IP address. And also I can enable the telnet access here. So I can take the telnet access of the terminal server. Okay. Then through the telnet server, I can take the CLI access of each and every device. So in this scenario, we have to use rollout cable. Got it, Rakesh?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay.
I was confused here only. Thank you.
Like so, this is my. I don't know how many devices are connected yet. 20.
So are we going to back up the router to like something happens to this? We are not having the reachability to the devices.
So you can connect more than two devices. You can connect like this is our console, so terminal server. In this also we have some separate console port for taking the CLI access of the router. So take one more server and connect that server to the server. Telnet. First check the reachability. 192.168.0.100. This is the IP address. So this is my terminal server. Cisco. So as of now, I guess I have only one device here. So host, I have only one device. So like this, we have multiple devices. In the lab, we have lots of servers and you can use. Currently, I am in the server mode, in the server, terminal server. And when I'm typing S1, here's line 01, it means I take the CLI access, like console access of the switch one. Okay. Yeah. So this is our terminal server. Now we come. So we have different cables for the different tasks. Now come to the again your router. Okay, any doubt in this? Now, as I told you, like we have a remote access. For the remote access, how many types of, how many way we have for the remote access? We have telnet, SSH, and the HTTP or HTTPS. For all these three tasks, we need one IP address. Okay. So first we have to take the console access, then we have to assign the IP address, and we can configure our telnet service. So in this device, we have two ports, so we can configure the IP addresses on this port, and I can configure our telnet services. Tomorrow I'll show you how to configure your telnet service. Today I'll show you how to take the CLI access initially. Okay. Just 1 minute.
Sir, how to take the CLI access from the HTTP to
We can configure our HTTP service. From the HTTP, you are not going to take the CLI access. You will get the GUI access. But in GUI also you will get the one text box and then you can find the commands. Now this is our router. I need a CLI access of this one. So first enter your flash memory. And I need a power supply. Okay. Which power cable I can use? because this is our Cisco packet tracer. So when you are adding any device, so directly you will get the CLI access. It's a software, so we are not connecting any devices, any cables, and but in the physical device we need a cable. So as I told you, like we have some kind of connectors. This one. DB9, and also I need our so this is our USB. This USB you have to connect to your PC. So before it, come to the Windows Manager. Window E. Then this PC, right click, manage. Device manager. PC is a little bit slow. Okay. Now I'm going to connect my USB to my PC. Automatically it will restart, and you can see we got the one ports, COM ports. If I'm removing my cable, then this port will remove. Okay. Again, connect your PC. Connect your USB to the PC. Now again, okay. Now your RJ45, you have to connect to your console port, like here, the Cisco packet tracer outer. So this is your console port. So your RJ45 connector, you have to connect here. Physically connect. And for getting a CLI access, we need one software, Putty software. Start your Putty software. You can download from the internet. It's around 2 or 3 MB file. That's it. Again, come to the manager. Check what is the COM number, COM6. Come to the Putty. Select serial. Change the number 0 to 6. Open. Now start your device. Okay. You can see record some data. So like this, you can take the CLI access to the console cable. It's our physical device, so it will take time. If you are taking the first take this 50 access, then you will get another. What is the first message you will receive? After removing another plugin, so no issue, doesn't matter. But if you're taking the putty X is the first, then you can check, okay, first, what message you are receiving, first message. It doesn't matter if I can remove this cable and I can plug in, it doesn't matter. I'll get the CL access. I'll show you. I'll show you this. This is only sixth class. Day by day. It depends like which device you are using. Like, what is the size of the Windows XP? And what is the size of the Windows 10? The GB? 8 GB. Okay. So it depends which operating system, like which version you are using. There is no fixed. Okay, so you can see that my device is comes up and okay, leave it as of now. So like this, you can take the CL access. Okay, guys, any doubt in this? Rakesh, any online guys?
No, sir.
Dixit? Okay. Dixit, Gita, any doubt, any query? Okay. Minimize this one. Now, come to your Cisco pictures. This is your device. Into the CLI. Now again, you can see the self decompressing, which we receive here. Same thing happen. But in the software, in the Cisco packet tracer, it take around 5 seconds only. Now, okay. Now you can see here. First of all, tell me just this router 4, it's not fresh machine or which fresh machine. We don't have any kind of configuration. That's why it's prompting this dialog. Would you like to enter your initial configuration or not? Yes. Okay. I don't like yes, but if you are saying yes, then press yes. Then it's asking, would you like to enter your basic management setup? According to yes, press yes. Then it's asking, what's your host name? Okay, so like R1. Then again, enable secret, SDFG. Enable password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't like this kind of things. It's asking the question, and I don't like whole asking the question. What's your assign your name, assign the IP address? Why should you asking the this kind of question? I'm a network engineer. I know what kind of configuration I have to do. Okay. So that's why we have to select no. If you select yes, then it will be asked you the question. Enter your host name, enter your secret password, enable password. Then it's asking assign the IP address on F0 by 0, assign the IP address of F0 by 1, like fast Ethernet 0 by 0, fast Ethernet 0 by 1. But my task is I have to assign the password IP address on the one port. So why should I assign the IP address on the second port? That's why I don't like this port. Like I don't like this way. I don't like anyone ask me the question. Now, so again, power of the power. Come to the CLI again. So at this time, just select no. You are the network engineer. You are learning the CCNA concept. It means you know what kind of configuration you have to do. You know the commands and all. So select no. And this is my fresh machine. What's the meaning of fresh machine? We don't have any data in our environment. So select no. Now we'll get the CLI access of the router. Note it down. Whenever you are getting this symbol, which one is it? Greater than? It means it's a user mode. User mode. User mode. Mode. Yeah. Okay. Greater than sign, user mode. Like in the router, we have some kind of modes. We have user mode. We have enable mode. Also, in some case, we are telling like it's a privilege mode in some scenario, but normally we are saying it's enable mode. Then we have configuration mode. then we have a interface mode, and like this we have some modes. But basically, user mode, enable mode, and the configuration mode. Generally, we are focusing on this three mode. Okay. So currently, I am in a user mode. Now I want to become an enable mode. So there is one command. The CLI, it means everywhere we have some commands. So if you want to come from the user mode to the enable mode, we have one specific command. Enable. Okay. Hit enter. Now, whenever you are getting this has value, router has. Okay, it means you are in the enable mode. And in the enable mode, we have show commands. Only we can get the data like show running config, show interface information. Like we can get the interface information. We can get the our router configuration files, operating system information, interface information. Like this we can get. So in the enable mode, we have only show command. SHOW. So SHOW. So. Okay. So now, my first task is I want to check how many physical interfaces we have. How many physical interfaces do we have? So there is one command. So IP interface grid. Note it down this time. So IP interface grid. It's going to check your interface information. It can be logical or it can be physical, doesn't matter. It's going to check your interface information. Hit enter. So currently, just forget about this VLAN. This is the outdated switch, outdated router. Forget about this VLAN right now. So in this device, we have two physical interface, fast Ethernet 0x0 and the fast Ethernet 0x1. Okay. And you can check here the IP address is unassigned. Means we don't have any IP address. What happened then? Whatever. Any query, any doubt? No. So let's focus here. So IP address unassigned. It means we didn't assign the IP address yet. Okay. The method unset. It means we didn't assign. Status is administratively down. So by default, your physical port in a down state. Okay. If you want to comes up, then we have to fire no shutdown command. Protocol, we will discuss that. Clear this command? So IP interface brief. Then I want to check my version. This is my router. Which version operating system I'm using? So the command is so version. Okay. Hit enter. So Cisco iOS software 2800 software. Okay. Scroll down. Now, just tell me what the configuration registry number. 2102. How many numbers I told you? It's two numbers I told you. Which one? 2102 and the 2142. Now, in the flash memory, what kind of data we have? Operating system. So let's type so flash. So this is your operating system. Okay, and this is your size in bytes. Okay. Alright, on the command. So flash, so version, so IP interface. Okay. Now, in the NVRAM, what kind of data we have? Startup configuration. In this scenario, do we have any startup configuration? No. Check it. So, startup config. Startup config is not present. Why? Because we don't have. We didn't fire the right command. And in a RAM, what kind of data we have? Running configuration. Do we have any running configuration? Definitely yes. If we don't have any running configuration, so how can we get this CLI access? So running config, not it on the command. So startup config. So running config. Okay. Now hit enter. So this is your running config. Scroll up. Yeah, this one. Current configuration size is 556 bytes. Version 12.4. Host name is a router. By default, this one is your host name. Okay. So by default, your host name is a router. No IP, CEF, IPv6, nothing. We have one physical interface F0 by 0, but we don't have any IP address. Same like interface F0 by 1, but we don't have any IP address. Okay. This is your running configuration. Tomorrow I'll show you what is a VTY. It's a switching concept. So remember, like we are getting the CLI access from the console. So it's called a line console, then line auxiliary, the line VTY. VTY, it means virtual terminal. If you want to take the remote access, then we are using this line. Okay. Now, in a startup configuration, do we have any configuration? In a startup, do we have any data? In a startup, no. If I reload my device, then which dialog will receive? Initial configuration dialog. Hit enter. Process with the confirm. You can see again we got this data. Again press no. Now on which mode we are? User mode. If you want to become an enable mode, enable. So just type en and just hit tab. It will fulfill your command. Now my task is I want to change my router host name. So if you want to do any kind of configuration, you have to become a configuration. So the command is configure terminal. Configure terminal. And hit enter, and it will look like this. Config as. Now my task is I want to change my router host name. Okay, we have to change our host name. So the command is very simple. Just type host name. And just give the question mark. Okay. Host name space then question mark. So what is this? Word. This system network name. Word. It means we have to put some word here. It can be anything, router 1, router 2, ASD, your name, doesn't matter. We need one word. So I can type R1. Hostname R1. We have to check like after this command, what kind of options we have. Okay. Hostname R1. Hit enter. Now you can see our router name is changed. Previously we had a router, now. So if I then if I want to save my configuration, okay, before it, like if I'm going to check my show running config, you can see here in the configuration mode, we don't have this command, show running config. So this show command belongs to. So currently I'm in a configuration. Okay. Lost on resources may affect your audio quality. So now you can see like the show commands, it belongs to the privilege enable mode. Currently, I am in a configuration mode. So how can I come from the configuration mode to the enable mode? From the high to low. Normally, we are using exit. If you are pressing exit, so now you'll become a privilege mode or enable mode. Now here I have to fire. So running config. So running config. Now you can see the host name is R. Now, if I reload my device, okay, after reloading, what's your host name? R1 or what? Yeah, why? Because we didn't save our configuration. So now I want to save my configuration. So the command is right. Hit enter. Now building configuration. Okay. Now you successfully save your configuration in the startup configuration, like in the NVIDIA. There is a three method to save your configuration. The first is this one. The second is write memory. Right. The second one is a write memory. The same thing will happen here. Okay. Now the third thing is like what you are doing here. Like in these things, you are saving your configuration. Like which configuration you are showing, you are trying to save running configuration. And which location? In the startup. So there is a one command like copy. I want to copy my running configuration to where? In the startup configuration. Like in the Linux, if you are familiar with it, so we have one copy command like copy source in the destination. Like this, we have some syntax. Same like here, copy running configuration to the startup configuration. Now here is asking what is your destination file name? Leave it as it startup configuration. Done. Clear? Three things. Copy running config to the startup config, then write memory and the write. Like you are trying to copy your file. You are not trying to save. You are trying to copy your file from the one location to another location. So in the destination, you have to specify your file name. So if you are putting the startup configuration, it means the startup file. If you change this name, so it's not going to work. It will be create one file, some other file, and there is a one file like startup config 123. So we'll put one file name with some extension, and in that we have some configuration file. But that one is not your startup configuration. So you have to write like exact number name startup config. Startup config. So now I want to reload my device. So now you can see in this scenario directly I'll enter in which mode? User. Again come to the enable. Now just tell me, do we have any entry in the startup configuration? Huh? Yes or no? That's why we directly enter in the router mode. And your router name, you can see the router name is R1. Obviously is a router. So startup configuration. You can see we have some data. You can see the host name is R1. Okay. Now again check your so version. What is the version number? 2102. That's why when you are reloading your device, so it's going to check your NVIDIA. If I change my number from the 210 to 2142, so it's going to bypass your NVIDIA. I'll show you in the physical device. Just type no. It's a physical device, so you will get lots of logs and all. Is a configuration registry number, registry number. Yeah, that's why I told you, like you can change. So according to you, this is my fresh machine or not? It's a fresh machine. So do we have any data in the startup configuration? Okay, let's check. So startup configuration. But here I have, you can see that my host name is R3. And also I have some IP address with the fast Ethernet. But if I'm reloading my device, so I'll get like it's a right test. Huh? So world. Now just tell me which version, what is our registry configuration number? When you are changing your number from the 210 to 214, it's going to bypass your NVRAM. So we have some data in the NVRAM, but it will bypass. So that's why we enter in the router like this is fresh message. Okay. So we have some commands, we have some method by using that we can change it. Not today. Huh? Not today. After some time. Okay. Now I told you like if you don't have any operating system, then it will be check which mode, like your booting process. It's going to find your operating system from the which memory? Flash memory first. If you don't have any operating system in the flash memory, then TFTP server. If we don't have any TFTP server, and for the TFTP server, we need some PC, we need some IP addresses. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to power off my device. I'm going to remove my flash. It means I don't have any operating system. Now power on your device. Now you can see we entered in our Roman mode. Now I guess now you can see in the route in the Cisco we have a Roman mode. I'm not sure with Optilink which operating system they are using or is a modem. But in the route, but in the Cisco we have Roman.
Right.
Okay.
Name is different, but
yeah. Concept is remains same. Like if you are using some Cisco devices, Juniper devices, Sophos, Barracuda, HP, doesn't matter. Process concept is remains same. This command is different. Mode name is different.
right.
So from the here you can copy your file from the TF, and also in the Roman mode also we are using the TFTP server because we need our operating system. Or the second thing, like this is my flash memory. This is my physical flash memory. Though in the we have some connector, we have some ports and all, so we can connect our this flash memory with our Windows PC, and I can copy my operating system in this flash memory. Like we are using the bootable pen drives, and same like I can install some operating system in my flash memory and I can insert in my router. Okay. And please don't remove this flash memory in the labs. Okay. Clear? This one? So again, can in the router. And 15. This is a shortcut term of the configure terminal. You can directly type conf/t. It's a useful command. Okay. Now, why we are using the router? Like, what's the main task? For connecting to different networks. It means we have to assign the IP addresses. So suppose in the scenario, I am going to take two routers. You can say this is my R1 and the R2. Okay. Scenario, we have two routers. And I need some kind of cable, just delay this automatically so it will take this closer. Now, click on this R1. I have to assign the IP address, some IP address. Okay. In this scenario, how many IP address we need? Two IP address. Which subnet mask we can use? So if I'm using 192.168.1.0/30. So what is my first valid IP address? 1.0 is my first valid IP address. Online guys, what is my first valid IP address? Let's focus on the subnetting. So your first IP address is like this is my network IP address or what?
Network IP.
This is my network IP address. If I want to find my first valid IP address, so implement by what?
1.1.
So 1.1, like 192.168.1.1. What is my second valid IP address? 192.168.1.1. Okay, so can I use here .3? Why? Because it's a broadcast IP.
Broadcast.
So this IP address I have to assign on this port number F0/0. FA means fast Ethernet.
Yes.
0/0. Now come to the router. I have to assign the IP address. This is my task. On which port number? F0/0 means fast Ethernet 0/0. So note it down the command interface fast Ethernet 0/0. With this command, we can enter into the interface mode. Interface fast Ethernet 0/0.
IP address.
So with this, we can enter into the interface mode. So I have to assign the IP address on which port number F0/0. So first I have to enter in that mode. Then we can assign the IP address. But in the first class, I can told them like I just type FA. So you will ask, okay, what is a FA? So first write it down to the entire thing. You have an experience, so you know these things like small things. Okay. So and now what's our task? We have to assign the IP address. So command is IP address.
Yes.
Then what's your IP address?
This one.
192.168.1.1. Space, give question mark. It's asking the subnet mask. Okay. In the decimal code. Just tell me what is the mask?
255.255.
The last octet?
255.
255 to 55 to 55 to 52.
252. The last. 255.255.255.252. And enter. Okay. Now just tell me how can I check my interface information? So IP interface view. Like the shortcut is so IP interface view. This command is belongs to which mode? Enable mode. Okay. If I try to execute this command here, so it will generate some error. But we have some way. So like I can tell my router forcefully, let's fire this configure, like fire this command here. Only so command we can fire in every node with some extra, like just type do this task. Forcefully you are saying do this task here. So we can use do command with only so commands. So just type here. Okay. So fast Ethernet 0/0. We assign the IP address. What's the method?
Manual.
Manual. Your status is still administratively down.
Down.
Okay, so we have to fire one more command here.
You have to move it up.
IP no. Currently your port is in a shutdown mode. We have to fire no such.
No
shutdown. You can see we got the one log. Interface pass Ethernet 0 by 0, change state to up. Okay. Now again check your interface information. Status is up. But your protocol is still down. Now leave this router here. Now come to the router 2. Router 2. CLI. Again, this is my first machine. You just type no. How can I come to the enable mode? Enable. Then config tree configuration. Then we have to assign the IP address on each interface. You can check here. FS 0 by 0. So instead of typing interface pass Ethernet 0 by 0, you can type int FA 0 by 0. Okay. Now what is the command next? Okay. Next is IP address. So IP address. IP ADDR. What is IP address?
192.168.1.2.
Subnet mask.
255.255.250.
Now in this mode, I want to check my. So in this mode, I want to check my interface information.
So to show
IP interface
brief.
So your status is in a down mode. Okay, so what is the next command? No shutdown. Your pod is in a down state, so we have to find no shutdown.
Shut down.
Port number protocol also you have to check. No shutdown. Done. You can see now we got the 2 logs. Previously we received only 1 log, but now we got the 2. The first one is interface pass Ethernet 0 by 0. This change state to up. Means when you are firing the no shutdown command, then your port number is gonna come up. Now, second log, line protocol on the interface pass Ethernet 0 by 0 state change to up. First, verify the command. Now you can see that status is up, protocol is also.
Yeah.
What about the router one? Here also you can see we got the 1 log and protocol is up. Why? Just think like why we got these things. When I find no shutdown command on my router 2, then my protocol is come to up.
because this is the load another.
It's going to check your neighbor. If your neighbor is in upstate and I'm also in upstate, then your protocol is up. If I find no shutdown command on the router 2 or the router 1, then it means my link is goes down. It means we don't have any connectivity directly. It means your protocol is down. So your protocol dependent on your neighbor. If your neighbor is in upstate, I am also in upstate, then my protocol is up. If my neighbor is in a downstate, then my protocol is in a down. And the status is depend on you. It's a local to your router. If I fire no shutdown command, then your status is
Specifically mentioning 0.0
all the port by default in the downstream.
So you can't keep it all of.
So right, but
We can change the status of all ports down to
yeah, once you can. Okay, and is any doubt? Now I am in a router 2. I want to change the host name. How can I do this? And the host name like this belongs to which mode? If you want to do any kind of configuration, so we have to come into the config mode. Currently, I'm in an interface mode. So how can I come to the configuration? Like first we are in a user mode. The second step is the enable mode. The third is configuration mode. Fourth is the interface mode. If you want to become a higher to the lower, we have to fire exit. Now I have to change my host name.
Sure.
Now just tell me You can say one more thing. Here, method. The first one is a manual one. You assign the IP address manually. That's why your method is manual. Why you are thinking like this goes higher? Okay, why? Now the second one is unset. Why? Because we didn't configure anything. Come to the outer one. Here also method is manual. Why? Because we configure. And this one and we done. Why? So first we start our router, then we change our host name, then we fire the right command, and then again we reload our router. It means all that configuration we will receive from the environment. Okay, that's why it's a environment. And after reloading our device, then we configure our IP address. That's why it's saying the manual. If I write my command here, like again, the write command also supporting the do. So I can type do. Then if I'm reloading my device, reload. Okay. And also you can see when your pod is in a down state, means your protocol is down, so your color is in a red. When your protocol is in up state, then you will get the green line. But these lines you will not get in the real life, in real time. In the real time, you will get the colors on the port numbers. Now come to the router one. Now, how can I check my interface information? So IP interface. Now the step check. What is the method? NVIDIA. Why? Because we receive all this data from the NVIDIA. Got it? Now the last thing, like how can we check the reachability? We use this one in your real time in your PC. You try this ping www.google.com. Yes. Right. You try ping command like in the CMD, like here. You know what is this command from? Here sometimes we are typing like ping 8.8.8.8 for checking the reachability, internet connectivity. Same like here. I want to check my reachability. From where to where? I want to check my I want to check my reachability from the router 1 to router 2. Okay. So if you want to check the reachability, in the WhatsApp, sometimes we are sending the hi message to our friends. For why? For checking if it's online or offline. Okay. So when you are trying to send the hi message, so what we need? We need a mobile number, contact number. So in this, if you want to check the reachability from the R1 to R2, so we need our router 2 IP address. So come to the router 1. In the enable mode, we have to fire ping command. What's your friend's mobile number? Means router 2 IP address.
192.168.1.2.
First packet is going to drop. We'll discuss tomorrow or the day after tomorrow why our first packet is going to drop. Now you can see the rest of all this board is exclamatory mark. It means it's a success rate. You can see here success rate is 80%. Why? Because my first packet is dropped. But when I'm checking the second one, 100%. So by using ping command, we can check the result. Okay. I doubt. Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No. So last command I will give. I want to change. I want to set my banner. What is a banner? In the normal one. What is it? Huh? Labeling and also this type banner. There's a two types of banner: login and multi. What the meaning of the login banner? So physically, I have one terminal server. If I'm trying to take telnet access of it, you can see this is my login banner. At the login time, I'm receiving this, not username. This is my banner. This part, username and the password. I set my banner here. So this is my login banner. Okay. Now, The next one is set a message on the day banner. Like daily will get this banner. You just type banner multi again question mark. So it's saying like when you are typing C character, it means it's the end of your lines. So you can give any number. Like if I want press as okay, so I'm typing something in the last when it will be received hash value, then it's going to exit from the margin. Also, you can set anything. Explain my part at the it depend on you. So I'm going to use hash enter. So here I have to type something. This is my banner. I can type anything. This is my first like this. Okay, now type has now exit. You can see we got the banner. Whenever you are taking this, when you are entering in the router, you will get this message. Got it? Login and the mode to login. It means when you are trying to log in from the telnet or console with the password, then you will get that login one. Mode to whenever you are entering in that router, then you will get this one. And query any doubt? This is the command. Okay, so guys, I'm done with my class today. Otherwise, you're fun. Huh? No, it's just a basic command. If I'll explain you what is a ping command and what is R bracket flow, so you will get confused. So for today is day by day, day by day. On the first day, we can't explain everything. Okay, guys, any doubt, any query? No? And everyone has that Google access, Google Drive access? Everyone has?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, then see you tomorrow at the same timing. Okay.
Thank you, sir.